So in this video, I want to be vulnerable, I want to be raw and share some of my personal story and journey with you. And I used to be a person who make impulse purchases all the time, and I used to be the person I couldn't save up anything. I spent everything I make, and moving from that point to gradually start to save money, put the money towards investment. And over the past few years, I built an over 7-figure portfolio. And here is my journey and my tips on how I cured my impulse purchase habit. So here is something I don't feel personal finance community is talking enough about this, which is how our childhood experience shapes our relationship with money. Growing up, my mom was an impulse purchaser, so I picked up that habit very, very early on, because whenever she get bored, she would take me to the mall and we'll go for shopping. That seems to be a bonding event between my mom, my sister, and myself, and that just becomes a habit when I was growing up. That was what I used to do because that was a habit naturally when I observed from my mom from such young age. That was so deeply rooted in my life. So when I first started working in my early 20s, my salary was good, but it was very hard for me to save anything. And I always just spent them out and left nothing. By the end of the month, I was living paycheck by paycheck. I was spending my life that way almost my entire 20s and the first year or two in my early 30s. And I ended up loads of stuff at home. It gets super cluttered and you cannot even put your feet on the floor. And there was a lot of chaos in my home, and which I was not very proud of when I think back. Back in that time, I didn't realize how much that overly stuffed environment takes away my mental space and my mental peace. And it also impacted my previous marriage because I had stuff everywhere. There was no place to store, and my home is just getting more and more cluttered, and it puts a lot of pressure in the marriage and it creates tension between two people. Even that, I was not self-conscious enough to actually break myself out of that loop. Up until the point of divorce, I had to pack up, and there was very few things I could take with me to travel, to move across the country. And I started to realize that I actually don't need that stuff. And all I need was fitting to just 2 suitcases with my daughter, and that's all I need to live my life. And all those years of impulse purchases and everything I've been purchased so far and all that money being spent, it was actually a total waste. And that was very sobering for me. And after I moved my home to California and I started to resell some of my stuff in Mercury, over the past 4 years, I sold 500 items on my Mercury, and I made over $15,000 from the old stuff I used to purchase and don't have use for. And that experience actually taught me a few things about impulse purchases and purchase decisions. First of all, it really allows me to take an inventory of what I bought in the past and what are the things I actually never used and will not use them again. And some of the items, I don't even remember when I bought it and why I bought it. And I start to realize that we actually don't need a lot of stuff in life. And on top of that, when we purchase the item, we think we own them and we have them forever, but that's actually not true. When we're actually moving and changing jobs, changing locations, we're continuously getting rid of our stuff through donation or through just reselling. And we actually own very, very little stuff in life. And think about when you're coming to this earth and planet, you actually don't have anything coming with you. And when you're leaving this planet, you're not going to take anything with you. And we're just all renting in this planet, in this life, and we don't actually own anything. So after I sold a lot of stuff and continuously decluttering, and I start to realize how much peace that I have brought in my life when my space is uncluttered and having the extra space. And I start to really appreciate the space instead of having stuff. Sometimes when you purchase a stuff, you think it's an asset, but it's actually more of a liability because you have to spend time to maintain them and to find the space. And it takes a lot of energy. And when you don't need it, it still costs you energy to take care of it, to get rid of it, or donation, all of that. Instead, having a free space and brings that peace of mind in my life. So now when I want to purchase something and I have 24-hour rules to allow myself to actually think it through. And on top of that, I have a wish list items for the items that I don't feel like that's urgently needed, but I cannot interested in. But over time, you will start to realize that after 24 hours, you might not need the item anymore. And once you put something on your wish list, there's a sense of accomplishment in the first step. And after a while, when you review your wish list, you'll be surprised how many items you don't even want them anymore. So making the right purchase decision and being consciously in spending, and that brings a lot more joy actually in the items that I do eventually bring them to my home. And along with that process, you ended up saving a lot more money and having more space in your home. So just to summarize, here are the top tips that I learned from my journey. Number one, to have a 24-hour rules and wish list to counter your impulses when you're wanting to purchase something right away immediately. And number two, continuous decluttering and resell them on Mercari or any other platforms, and you will learn so much through that reselling experience, and you will get to appreciate the moment when you actually having the extra empty space in your home when you get rid of something. And number three is to start to value peace more in your life, because peace is what leads to happiness. That's what I truly believe. So having less items will lead to less clutter and will lead to less hassle, less time spent, less money spent, and that will bring you more peace and more happiness in your life. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video if you find this is helpful, and leave a comment down below, share your story, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.